So I'm looking at, well, I'm in a position on oil. I entered maybe a little bit early, honestly, but all good. I still think we're good. I should probably have waited till 9:30, but you could see nice fair value gap here. We took out this major session liquidity pool yesterday, right? We come right back up into it. We hit it, fail, and then we actually come into another fair value gap here that is on the lower time frame on the 15. And as soon as I saw it turtle soup into it right here and fail and then break back down, I basically just entered directly off of that, expecting this last sequence of up candles to hold. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, honestly. It looks like it still might raid that high again after taking out sell side liquidity right here, right? Failing to break and displace. So yeah, I think I was a little bit early on the entry. Honestly, I'll probably we'll see what happens at 9:30. We might get a sweep back above it and then come back down. But let's see. Regardless, it's a good place to be entering shorts. So um, it is what it is, right? So I'm going to be looking at. I'm just going to just wait to see what happens here. But it's a good setup regardless. Good setup regardless. And I'm also looking at EU here. I'm actually in on one of my Forex accounts, but it does look like it's going to fade back into the fair value gap here. But yeah, just using this breaker, I want to see the breaker hold, give me a nice 2-hour trade, at least up above to this liquidity here. That's my target on this one. So that's all I'm looking at on EU. But yeah, see, even on the 15-minute here, that's just not how I wanted that to look. It was looking way more bearish. I thought that it was just going to slide through this at my entry, but you can see now that we have a consolidation. We break back above it. We come back down into the fair value gap, test it, break above this order block now. And so yeah, it looks like we're going to go back up again one more time on oil here. But yeah, I don't want to. The reason why I'm not taking it out is because we have a rejection block right here. You can see that this rejection block is the one that swept liquidity here. So, and we're closing at it right now. So unless we break back above that, then, you know, then maybe I can manage the position or cut it early as a loss. But for right now, I shouldn't take it out because there still is a massive potential that this just rips, especially we have these equal lows here that I'm looking at. You see that, right? And you can see on the, again, the 1 hour where we swept liquidity yesterday, comes back down, creates this consolidation, takes out a swing high up into premium of the range. And now we should be targeting this low here. Okay. And the reason why I'm looking at that is because you can see from this low to this high, this range here, we're 50%. We're not there yet. We tapped into that daily fair value gap for sure, but we're not at 50% yet. So I'm expecting bearish days until we hit that 50%. But yeah, maybe I entered early on it, a little bit early. All good though. Is what it is. Still a decent trade in my opinion. The where the trade is located right now, like where it's setting up, is really good. It's a really high quality spot. So I figured I'll give it a go. I'll give it an attempt and see what happens there. So let's just see. Nothing left to do but wait. Nothing left to do but wait. See how the 1 minute is looking. You see 1 minute we are throwing some wicks up into there, but again, not my favorite, right? Where we take out liquidity here, we have this as our breaker here. It's being respected on this side. So we're in this range essentially, but I think, right, there's the rejection block. It starts right up here. Okay. You can see actually there's that last order block on the 1 minute as well, but let's just see. Maybe this was the turtle soup on the lower time frame here. These equal highs. We purged it and now it's ready to drop. That could be the play there as well. So let's just see. Ideally, I just want this thing to fucking melt just from where it is right now. It looks really good because if it slides through this 15-minute fair value gap on this side now, right, slides through it, we're set, because then we're going to take up this swing low and we're just going to be rocking. So that's the idea. And my EU trade is currently digging deeper into that breaker block. Currently digging deeper into it, which is fine. We'll see what happens with that. Again, both good setups. This one, I wish I did wait a little bit more just for some extra confirmation, to be honest. Like just like I have to wait for my fair value gaps, and like I was just jumped the gun. I was like, oh, there's going to be a fair value gap here, and so I entered on this candle, and then it went all the way back up, filled it, and I was like, shit. I wanted to wait for a fair value gap in order to enter. I can't just enter because I feel like it, or that because I think price is going to go down. I have to actually wait for it on my confirmation. So yeah, all good. This one was there's a potential order block here, this last up candle, because that one is the one that swept liquidity as well. So we can mark that off as our point of interest with our yellow, right? We had a point of interest there, point of interest there potentially. So I'd really like to just see it slide now. I don't want to see it hanging out up here too much anymore. And in regards to our EU did go down into that. It's in that last fair value gap. Again, I'm protected by this breaker here, right? We swept liquidity, broke structure. This is our liquidity here. So, I mean, my stop is down below this breaker. So it shouldn't, again, if it's going to go, it's going to go. And if not, then we'll get stop on this. It is what it is, right? So yeah, content. Again, happy with the trades that I'm taking regardless. You know, these are trades that if I take consistently, repeatedly, they're going to work out. And so it's just being content with taking good trades regardless of outcome. That's an elite place to get to, you know what I mean? So, and there we go. We're starting to melt on this. It looks like let's see if EU gets a reaction now as well. But yeah, I'm hoping we slide through that. Right now, I'm just going to modify this to my stop being above this high, okay? Because realistically, if we start breaking back up above this high, I don't really want to be in it, and we'll just lose, you know, $100 or whatever it was, $120. If that's the case, there's also this 15-minute fair value gap. I want to see it close through. All right. See what's shaking there. Wait for the 15. So there's 7 minutes left. So still lots of time. This could just be a wick, right? So this is what is sketching me out right now, just with the time. This could just be a wick on this 15-minute candle because we're still super early into the candle. But yeah. So EU is starting to get the reaction from there. I actually entered, my entry is literally right at market price, actually, right here. So let's see. Oil. Once oil, so I can ride oil all the way back down into this low if I want to, but I'm going to start to see how it's reacting around these equal lows, because again, we'll be up at, you know, 200-300, up at around that at that point, if it gets back down into these lows. So if it gets down into those lows at $200-300 on the futures account, right, I want to make sure that I'm starting to pad. I just started it. You can see, right, I'm up $171 on it. I just started this is the live futures. So yeah, I just want to start padding the account. So I'm not going to be too aggressive with the take profit. Like I put it here because I'm being, because I always do that. I put my take profit at the most ambitious target because I'm a degenerate. Just hoping that it just melts down all in one candle. And then you're like, holy shit, I did it. I caught it. But typically, we'll hit some liquidity and I'll be out. But yeah, this is not what I want to see. I don't want to see it close back within this 15-minute range. And we still have 6 minutes, so there's still a long time. And if we look at, structurally speaking, we're looking at higher highs and higher lows here. Okay. So this is the higher low, right? We got to be cognizant of that. We can't just neglect that just because there's equal lows. So yeah. I like the 1 hour here though. Like the 1 hour is going to close, and it's going to close as well. We'll see how it's going to close, but you can see here, right? Consolidation, poke back up into it, fail at these highs. Like I would just love to see it melt right through this level right now at this point, right? Above the open, drop back down on the daily. Still sick. We're getting some movement on EU. I want to just start seeing that bitch rocket as well. Let's see. Okay, so that was the order block. Yeah, for some reason, I just don't like this at all. Well, you could see actually why. You see the last down candle here, respecting that. Just don't like that. Don't like that at all, guys. Let's see how the 15-minute closes though. Like if it closes bullish, if it closes back above this, I might just take out the position, to be honest. EU is running on my Forex account at least, and so that one's popping. I wanted to see these equal lows at least get targeted there. So let's see. Again, you don't know until it closes, right? You don't know until it closes. And we'll see what EU is saying as well, because I would love to just see this get above this high. This is the main. As soon as it gets up to here, I can manage my position. And then once we hit 2R, I'll probably be fully out because I'm risking a little bit. I'm risking 2% on my Forex account for that one. Really like how that one's set up. So see, that's the rejection block. Let's see. A lot of stuff going on right now, actually. Very rarely am I taking two positions simultaneously, but I figured, hey, if we had one in oil and we had one on the we had one on oil and we had one on the euro futures, and I was like, instead of loading up on the futures account, might as well take euro on my Forex account. Hopefully get a nice W there. And see, this is what I'm saying, like for the 15-minute close, it's all about the closures, right? Even if this closes all the way back up into here, like you have to let it breathe and you have to give it time and you have to understand which time frame you're waiting on the close. Like I'm waiting on the 15-minute close because there's a 15-minute fair value gap, right? And if the 15-minute closes back up within it after hitting a discounted PD array, like I'm going to be a lot more quick on the trigger, to say, fuck that. I'm going to be pausing or I'm going to be at least moving it to break even and giving it some chance to still just melt. But at the same time, like not worth to just try and hold on to it and hope and pray if it's still respecting the bullish PD arrays. But now that, like, let's see how this closes. But if it closes nice and strong like this, I would expect the next candle to come back up, test, and then come back down, right? So yeah, let's see here. I want to see some legs, some clean ass legs, brothers. EU, I'm not too sure it looks like it's still respecting flow. If you look on the lower time frame, if I look on the 1 minute, right, it's still respecting flow. Come back up into this level, which is a little high, low, lower high, and potentially coming into a lower low, but it doesn't matter. I'm playing the 15-minute breaker, and so the target is that it's more likely to get up into this high before it more likely to get up into this high before it comes down and takes out that low. That's the idea, right? It's high resistance liquidity at the bottom, at the low, so it's more likely to go up. And for oil, I just want to see oil get through this rejection block, because that's the lowest PD array in this leg, right? In this range. So let's see, immediately the candle opens up, the new 15-minute opens up, moving up. That's a good sign, right? That means that, hey, we might just be creating the wick to start coming back down. So ideally, I don't even want to see it get up into this inversion, okay? I would like to just see it go up into here, create kind of a false run based off of touching the rejection block, come back up and still respect these down candles. Right? Meaning, and what I mean by that, those respecting the down candles is making lower lows and lower highs. So making a low while preserving this high, right? That's all I'm saying. And EU does seem to be breaking to the upside, which is nice. Right? Ideally, I mean, ideally, I'd like to see it get up to here, then come back down. Let's see. There's a nice 1 minute you can see here, right? Consolidation, break back down, sweep, break back up, retest. So again, it's still stuck at this level though, and this is the more dominant move right now. So it has to break through that. That's what's going to validate it for me to say, okay, I can move my stop underneath the low. But right now, that's still considered a weak low, right? Even on the 5 minute, you can see like we need to see a sweep break of this, then that validates that low. So let's see. Yeah, coming right back up into the inversion. Not what I wanted to see, especially because again, this is a rejection block here. So this could easily, like I said, this could be still following structure to the upside and blah, 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 right? But we have this order block here that swept liquidity, should be good. We have inverted levels here. We have 50% of that wick. So let's see. Again, I'm more inclined to be short here. I don't think that we're going to be bullish. And so I think it's, yeah, that's all. I'm more inclined to see shorts, especially, that we inverted the 15. If we close back above it, potentially something to take into account, right? Potentially something to take into account. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I need some cafecito. What a life. I would really love to see this Asian low get just smoked, because this to me looks like a market maker sell model. Like we have that original consolidation, we have reaccumulation, smart money reversal. And so that's why I'm super adamant on this. Like I just think that this, if it can hold here, I think we're just going to melt, and we should get a pretty clean run to the downside if it's going to happen, right? So, but it's already 9:50. Okay, so potentially what's going to happen is the hour is going to close like how it is. It's going to use this rejection block up here and then break back down on the hourly. That's what I could see happening, honestly. And so my stop should realistically be at the CE of that, which is above that 50%, which it is, right? My stop would be above there. So it shouldn't get back above that level up here. So my stop is in a good place. The idea, I think, is right. I think we are going down, of course. That's why I'm making the bet, the calculated bet on it. But yeah, now it just depends on, okay, well, how is this 9 a.m. candle going to close? If it closes below this level, that would be awesome, right? That would be ideal. And we have 10 minutes left in the candle. So the first 5 minutes of the candle started going up. And so now what I would like to see is this invert and turn into a bearish candle, right? So it opens, it goes, creates the high, it creates the low, and then it closes. This is what I would like to see in this candle right here. And I think EU is going to start to rip to the upside right now as well. Okay, so we're holding that for value gap, took out these equal lows, and now I think we're going to get a nice sprint, very similar to this leg right here. We get a nice sprint to start taking out these this high right here. That's where I'm going to be managed. Okay, and then we'll see what happens from there. Let's see, patience. Yeah, it does look like it's going to dig up into this fair value gap a little bit more, to be honest. It hasn't gotten up into this one yet. And here, let me just take this off because you obviously know where my trade is. But yeah, this fair value gap right here. Let me just take off all that and clean up the charts, make sure we're not creating scenarios that aren't really there by adding too much to the charts, you know. Always good to remind yourself and, you know, not get too trapped. Let's see. Just looking at EU right now. Still struggling actually at that level. It's just having a really hard time here. Look at 1, 2, 3 5-minute candles right at this block here. So I ideally just want to see it really slip through this high, because that's going to tell you, hey, we have some institutional order flow, or we have some institutions entering their positions, get a nice fair value gap through that swing high. That would validate to me that we are going up. As of right now, I'm still confident in this one, just because, you know, we've had this fair value gap and we had equal lows here. We respected it. We popped down into this one here, into the middle of this breaker block. We're respecting it. So I still do, of course, think that it's going up. So that's good. Oil, not too sure, to be honest. Because we hit this level, I wanted to see it rip through this level as opposed to it being held at, especially at the 50% like that. Not a fan of that. to be totally honest. But what's keeping me in here, or what's making me like really hold this, is the fact that we have these equal lows, and the fact that we hit a higher time frame area here where we took out major liquidity and we're failing at that high. So that's what kind of keeps me really interested in this. And like I said, right, the 15-minute candle started when? At 9:30. Wait, no, 9:45. Sorry, guys, I can't even calculate that in my own brain. All right, so 9:45 to 10. So again, what happens? It breaks up first candle, and now I want to see it break back down, and then we want to see a bearish close to this 15-minute going into the new hour. That would be ideal. And you could see that it's holding right from that inversion, as I said earlier, which is excellent. And now we have an order block here on the 5-minute. We should reach up into it, tap it, and start breaking back down and targeting these lows. Let's put a POI there. Beauty. Let's see if we could start to take out these lows here. Again, if we can, we're into there's a 1 hour fair value gap here, 1 hour fair value gap there. Holy, that was just super difficult to say, but all good. So like I said, as soon as we get down into this liquidity pool, I think for me, I'll just close off the trade, even though I do believe that it's going to run a lot more. It's just more to start building up some equity in the futures account here. So there we go, 330. Let's just take it off there. Done. All right, so that is it. Again, am I anticipating that this is going to come down to here? Yeah, but I wanted to build equity in this account. We're at $500 now, so now I could potentially risk a little bit more on the next ones, right? So what I'm looking at here is the fact that we came back down into these last sequence of down candles. All right, and so that to me is like a nice daily order block. I think it's in a right at that you see weekly fair value gap. So because the weekly fair value gap is here, we haven't closed this week, right? So we can't say that it's disrespecting it. It might close up here and then start rallying up. That's why like we're at a really key level right now. And on the daily, we're in this last sequence of down candles as well. So that's our order block. And if you actually look, this is really the last run. Okay, so this is where the low comes in, the high, and then would be a higher low if that is the case. And so to me, this made sense for longs because we were in that weekly level that we slid through, but we haven't closed yet. So this could still be respected. We still have to assume that it's going to be respected, or at least in my opinion, we do. We also come back down into a daily level, right? So daily is key here. And then at the same time, we broke this high right here of that last down candle in the hour. That's a change in state of delivery. And so now on the 15-minute, we have our breaker entry. We have a 15-minute fair value gap. We have a clear target. And so, yeah, we're rocking right now, which is really good. So we closed out that position in oil. Closed out that position in oil, which is now it's dying. Okay, but close it out right here, right below these equal lows. Again, don't have to hit home runs. I'm completely fine with that. We pad up our account on the futures account, and who knows what's going to happen later on, right? Maybe now that I've padded up, or get up to $2,000, and then I can start risking a little bit more. Risking 0.5% per trade or percent per trade, and now I can start really compounding that account because the trailing drawdown stops at break even, right, on the account. It allows me to, if I get up to $3,000, $4,000 in profit on that account, what I can do is I could actually start risking more because I have more room to work with, and thus pushing my account up. So that's why that's my plan with this for the futures account. Just again, little base hits, 1 hour, 2 hours done, and just pad up the account a little bit more until until we do it, until we can get some payouts and stuff from that. Because again, this is the first time I'm doing the futures account, or this is the first time I have it live, and so I want to see how to best approach it. And I think that that's the best way to approach it, considering that's what I did during the actual challenge of it, you know, the actual combine. So whereas like that's what I'm saying with Forex or whatever, like you could risk a couple percent because you have 10% drawdown. You have so much, right? Um, specifically for the challenges, and then on your own accounts, like mine is linked to my personal account as well. So, you know, I'm risking 2% on my personal account. You can see Traders Connect up here. Let me just get out of that, but that's what I'm using for copying my accounts, and that way I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's going. I can move my stop, moving my stops to break even. Excellent. And so one of the things I'd be a little bit concerned about here is a swing high coming into this block. This block is not really meaningful to me, to be honest. It didn't really do anything. Sure, we did have a fair value gap here that was respected on this side. But if this closes through it, which we haven't yet, if it closes through it, then, I mean, I see no reason why this wouldn't just continue to launch up. One of the places I'm going to be cognizant is midnight open here. You can see what happened at midnight open. Well, we get a rally up. We take out a swing high using that weekly fair value gap. Remember right here, using that weekly fair value gap, the consequent encroachment of it, and then breaking down, getting some juice right from here from this order block. Okay, getting some juice from that order block, pushing down, getting some juice from this order block, pushing down. And then this one should have held, quote unquote, should have, right? But it didn't, it consolidated, we create our breaker. And so that was our first change in state right there. So let's see, I want to see it get through this fair value gap. I don't want to see it hold. And to be honest, if it does hold after this candle here, that's on the 5. Yeah, I have to wait for the 15-minute close again. And honestly, if it stops us at a break even, it does, right? Like it's not, it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, this is a breaker now, right? And here, let me clean up the chart so you guys understand why. First off, why was this one a breaker right here? Because we take out a swing low. We actually take out 2 swing lows, one here, one here. Okay, let me mark that off. Okay, so we take out a swing low, and then we shift market structure right here, and we have that last up candle, right? The last up candle that caused that low, the highest up candle that caused that low, that's your breaker. It's validated because you have a fair value gap. That's what makes it strong. That's what makes this breaker really strong. And so that's why I entered directly from the breaker, right? And so now if we look to the 5-minute, well, what do we have right here? Inside that fair value gap that respected already. So on the 15-minute that respected already, what do we have here? We have a low, we have a swing that breaks that low, and then we shift back up above that high. So the last up candles, okay, and we can now, because we have a sequence here, right? We have 1, 2 up candles. You could say this to this low moved over is going to be your breaker. Now, like I said before, what validates it is having a fair value gap. And so this is the only one. So if this has to close in the next minute and 30 seconds with a fair value gap to validate that breaker block, if not, well, shit out of luck. Okay. And again, remember where we're at on the 15-minute. So this could easily be a taking out of a swing high, respecting this gap right here, and breaking back down to come take out this low again, right? That could be the case. Okay, so just be cognizant of that. And that's why I moved to break even at this point, because at this point, if we just took out this high and we failed and we're closing within this range and there's no fair value gap, it's improbable. But my stop loss, remember, is down here, right? Is right at, what price is that at? On the 5. Oh shit. My bad, guys. Sorry, it's on this candle right here. This right on this low is where my stop loss is. So again, that means like this breaker, we shouldn't dig back down this low into the breaker. Like this one is okay to use as the breaker, to be honest. So my stop is just underneath that. And so, yeah, 5 seconds and we have our confirmation. Perfect confirmation. And now dip down into that to start off the candle, dip down into it, and then just start flying up. Where are we going to fly up to? Well, we definitely have to be cognizant of this. You see, last sequence of up candles, purge liquidity, break back down, fair value gap up there. That's going to be definitely the first area. And that's my 2R, right? As soon as it gets up above this high, it's 2R. So that to me already is enough to just say, scrap it. We did what we had to do. That's 4% gain on the account, right? Which is excellent. Like, not complaining about that at all. And I was going to say, there's also the 50% of the equilibrium price. So let's keep an eye on that equilibrium price as well, which is, all right, well, where can we start our equilibrium price from? Well, I guess it depends on what equilibrium price we're talking about here. Where was the last purge on liquidity? Well, you can see the last purge, the most recent purge, sorry, is this one right there, right? We purged liquidity, fair value gap, run back down. This wasn't, I guess you could say that was actually the purge as well. There was one there, but that wasn't a swing high. That was just dipping into fair value. So I would use this one as my range. So if I'm using this one as my range, I'm looking at 50%. 50% is actually right at the consequent encroachment of this order block, which is again where we're looking at on the hourly, right? We shouldn't dip, like we should use this body, this open here as support and continue back up. We shouldn't be digging too deep down into that as well. And you can see there, right into that fair value gap. Let's see. Let's see if we get some sort of run off of this. And again, coming right back up to that 50% would be ideal. And then we could just close out and enjoy life. I'm going to put my HTF POI there. It's not HTF. It's not a higher time frame, but this is the order block, right? Last sequence of down candles before the up move. We have a breaker here, so it could dabble down into the breaker. If it is, this is your entry right here, right? Stop loss below there. 2R, perfect. 2R gets right up into that level. See? So this is another position. That's a potential, right? You have your 8:30 a.m. open here, 9:30 a.m. open here. So yeah, let's see. Because again, if it slips through, right? If it slips through this, well, then this is a breaker on this side, right? Last sequence of down candles that led to the higher high, and then so on and so forth. That's why we're being very cognizant here of our trade. We're in a level that it could reject from, and so we're playing it like that. That's why I wouldn't take this one here. I wouldn't scale in. I'm protected right now, and I'm protected because there is potential, or it is. I don't want to say it's probable. I want to say that it's more probable than I would like for price to reject off of this, given how it's looking right now. It's more probable than I'm willing to risk, if that makes sense. So, that being said, let's wait and see if we're going to get some respect here, or if it's just going to slide right through. If it slides right through, then yeah, all this is weak, right? Because then we got 1, 2, 3 runs on liquidity at that point of interest, and then we're just going to start breaking down. That's the other option. Let's see. It still remains bullish. Still remains bullish based off the higher time frame and everything like that. So All right, so we respected that fair value gap. Okay, we respected this fair value gap. Plus, again, that last sequence of down candles, we're still at the open or at the high of that. So this is still valid. Where's my 15-minute? One of the things that we do have to be wary of too, or like the max that I want to see this go down is that 50%. See this wick here? The max I want to see it go down is 50%. I don't want to see it dip below that. I want to see it hold that and start rallying. You could also see this inefficiency on the other side that could be used as a quick whip down into support and then go. Let's see. Let us see. How's my oil doing? It's melting? No, it's basically at the same spot. Yeah, I don't like how this is looking, to be honest. It's looking a lot more. Well, I mean, we'll see. Let's see. Like I said, it has to sustain this level. That's the only option. But not liking how it's looking right now. Not one bit. Even on the 1 minute, like it just looks horrible. On the 1 minute, it just looks heavy, right? Like we take out that high, support, break back down, support, break back down. Like it's just not looking good. It's looking pretty aggressive. So, anyways, I'll probably get stopped out at break even, which my break even, I'll let you guys know when I get stopped out at break even. But it's going there. It's looking like it's going. I have very little hope in this now, or very little belief that this is going to work out. Especially now that we're sliding through that fair value gap, the one I pointed out right here. Again, we have to wait until the close, right? The close, it could easily close right back up into that and hold it, but it just is looking heavy. Let's see, I'm pretty close to getting stopped out. Are we back down into this? Yeah, we are. Let's see. This is the last point, but you see how it goes up clean and then immediately down clean inefficiently? Don't like that at all. Don't like that at all. Let me just take this off so I could see. Because if we failed to create a higher high right here, which we did, okay, this was a failed. If we fail to create a higher high here, what does that mean? That means that this is weak, this low. So that's why I wouldn't be entering any position off of that, because we failed to create a higher high. And what I mean by that, because you might say to yourself, Matt, no, there was a higher high. Look at that. It's higher. When I'm looking at higher highs, I'm in higher lows. I'm looking more for the, I want to see bodies break through and close above. That's more what I consider a body close, or what I consider a higher high. All good. That's kind of unfortunate though, because I was really expecting that was going to go. It looked really good. It looked really, really good. But no, like this is what I'm saying, man. This is what makes trading hard. Like, because like part of you is just like, shit, man, I had that dead set in my mind that I was going to make that 4%. And I thought for sure that it was going to get through this level. And, we didn't close through it. there was no other option, right? Like, look at I had to wait on the 15-minute closure. Remember that? Because it's a 15-minute point of interest. So I had to wait for a 15-minute closure to get to confirm. But what ended up happening was we had a failure, and then we had a 15-minute closure back into the range, way back, right? So nothing you could do there. It's a little bit frustrating sometimes, for sure. Like, especially with, man, that's like trading forex on my, like, for the FTMO and stuff. It's just been like up and down and up and down. Just can't get a decent winner. Can't get anything going on that account. I got one on the other stream, but like lost a couple in a row right after that. But yeah, just brutal. Just can't get the things flowing. That's why I've really been liking the futures lately, because I've been doing well with them, and you know, I kind of am reading them really well, and just okay to take little positions, like short up here, cover down here, done. I don't need to take anything higher. Whereas like on EU, if I did the same thing here where I enter right here, take out right there, I'm done. But that was only 1 hour. So harder. It's not is what it is. Anyways, that's all for me. Catch you guys later.